All right, guys. So this section we're going to go over the Ethos leads, abandoned cart leads, and Easton's been running those. But a couple of things I want to say, and then I'll turn it over to Easton and let him kind of go over what the process has been like, what he's doing with these leads, how they're working, etc. Is that I think it's super important to, and we Easton and I have both learned this the hard way, but it's super important in business to be willing to, try new things out and shift as things come up, which has happened a lot of times since I've been in the business, since Easton's been in the business. Like I remember when I first started, leads were all we had was direct mail leads, and it was like we were flying all over the country to get leads. And then we started getting some Facebook leads, then internet leads, then virtual mortgage leads and virtual IUL leads now, and then Ethos leads. So I think it's always important to, when you hear stuff like this and someone talking about what they're doing to work a new lead source, how they're having success with it, don't just go like, hey, I'm having some success with my leads, like I'm good. Like it's important to take this stuff and implement it and always be filtering in new leads that you can work so that when the market changes, you're not there, standing there without any other additional skill sets. Because there was times when we were like, hey, run multiple leads, and people had direct mail mortgages. It's like, dude, I'm crushing on these, like nothing will ever change. And then all it takes is, COVID to come and interest rates to go up afterwards, and no one to be selling or refinancing, or no one to be buying houses, no one refinancing houses because interest rates are up, and then inflation, and mail's $80 a lead. Then you're like, oh shit, and I got to find some new lead sources, right? So I just wanted to preface with that. And I think Easton's done, we've learned it the hard way, but now you've always been like, oh cool, I'll try the virtual mortgages, I'll try IUL leads, I'll try the abandoned cart Ethos leads. So if you can, for a minute, kind of go over, explain to everyone what those are, how they work, and how you're working them efficiently, I think that'd be great. And for those of you who, if new people on here don't know, Easton has hit Hall of Fame every year. He's been in the field for the full year. I mean, you've written probably over 3 million of insurance total, I bet, on your own pen.
Yeah, should have just pushed over 3 this year.
Yeah, so definitely the most on our, I would say the most on our team, probably. It's probably close, probably like between you and Juan is probably pretty close, but Easton's either first or second with the most amount of total premium written, big team, and we wouldn't be here without his help. So but yeah, dude, I'll turn over to you if you want to go over what you're doing with these leads, and how you and some of your guys are working them super efficiently. I appreciate it.
Well, I appreciate you, dude. And to your point of like a lead mix, like we always had a lead mix. And then
Yeah.
when we got cracked out on mortgage, like we just kind of like forgot that, hey, we've always had a lead mix. And if you're not willing to like learn how to work multiple leads, it's going to hurt you. And it makes it way easier to go, hey, dude, this is how I work this lead. This is how I work this lead. And you can, teach, train, and develop on 8 different lead types because you've spent time learning how to work all of them. So it's going to help you a ton in the future. And, right now, I would say from just an internet lead standpoint, dude, between the questionnaires, the beneficiary leads, and the Ethos leads, like you have a really strong mix in our ILC right now that's sick for high level production.
Yeah.
Ethos leads specifically, the reason I kind of like them so much, especially for newer, agents, is it's a client that was on the Ethos portal that either started to fill out a full like application with Ethos and either didn't complete it or got moved to another product and then they didn't complete that. So it's just an abandoned application. So like they've entered their information in there, their social security number. So it's very, very high intent from like a client is trying to purchase and then either ran out of time or didn't know how to pivot. So it gives you a huge opportunity to go from I don't know how to convert and like do a really good why and like build value. Like they're already in applications trying to purchase. And so all your job is kind of like figure out what they were looking for and why, and then pivot to a company or complete their Ethos application. So it's really, really cool lead type. I was just, telling Marty at Ethos that like, dude, I freaking love these. However many you can get, cut loose in Colorado, Montana, like I'll take them all kind of thing. Because I've really liked working this type so far. And I will just call them like, hey, this is Easton with Ethos right here in Colorado. I saw that you had gone onto the portal and were trying to pull some like life insurance quotes, and either, you didn't get the number you were looking for, you just didn't have time to finish it. Do you remember if it gave you the numbers? Like, did it actually pull your quotes? And then they're basically going to tell you yes or no. Like, yes, it pulled quotes and it was a little higher than I was hoping, or like, oh, I didn't even have time to complete it, so I didn't see the numbers. Either way, it's a huge opportunity to go, Okay, no, no problem. I'm actually the managing underwriter here in Colorado, Zach.
Hmm.
Within Ethos, we have like 50 total insurance companies that we can like underwrite and shop through. So it'll only show you like that one company on there. If they pulled a rate that they didn't like, they can only see the one company. So like if you let me schedule a quick, it's maybe like 12 minute underwriting appointment, it'll give me a chance to shop all the remaining companies all over the United States so that we can actually pull a rate a little bit closer to what you were on the hunt for. Does that work? And then you're just like assuming the booked appointment, or if they're not in the middle of anything right now, then you just go. And really once you get that far, it's like, hey, are you in the middle of work right now? And then you're booking if they have work. All the other stuff is the exact same. Hey, are you married? Are you working? Is it for one or both of you? All the rest of the sales process is identical, but just having that initial contact with like, hey, I'm with Ethos here in your state. I'm calling you because I saw that you were on the portal trying to pull some life insurance quotes or complete an application and either didn't have time or wasn't quite the numbers you were looking for, which is it? And then you just can assume kind of the sale the rest of the way through because they were already trying to buy. So from a new agent standpoint, dude, I don't know if there's like a bigger home run that you should have as part of your lead mix than an Ethos lead in there. I love them.
So when you have people that, because sometimes they filled out the Ethos one because I've been on some calls with some agents when they've ran across some of this stuff, and sometimes they'll like the client will go, well, like I wanted the thing where I could get $2 million for $50 a month. Like, what are you doing if you have someone who's 60 and unhealthy to get them, back down to reality to get some coverage in place instead of that, $2 million policy that caught their eye by the advertising? Because I think that's probably the most common objection, right?
Yeah, I would say so. Like, hey, and that's a great thing to just kind of ask as you get through that process. But if they just tell you that right up front, it's just like, dude, it sounds like Zach, you're just kind of on the hunt for as much insurance as you can possibly afford to take out for your family. Fair enough. And I'm going to say it like
Yes.
that to give me the ability to like go ahead and proceed through a downsell. And if they say something crazy, like I was hoping for 2 million under $50, got it. Was this for like an income replacement? Were you like trying to take it to like pay off a big house, or like what had you on the hunt for like the 2 mil? And they're like, well, I don't know. It was just part of the advertisement. I was like, okay, well, do you have income replacement now? Or like, would you like to isolate your mortgage to pay this off? And I would like to assign it to something. And then you can figure out, cool, what do you make a year? Or how much is left on your loan? And then now you've got easy pivots to, dude, I make 60 grand a year and you're 60. Like, dude, you're not going to get 2 million for $50. And we know that. So let's just like gently downsell them into finding out how we can place that coverage and assign it to a need that they already have. So I think that's the easiest one, really.
Are
Just it
you
sounds like
typically doing these ones just straight on the phone? Or are you getting them on Zoom with you? Or is it kind of a mixture of both depending on, but depending on the size of the appointment, or what does that part look like?
yeah. If they are like live right on the spot, I'll just straight up ask them like, hey, are you like at home in front of a computer? Insurance companies love we can get our eyeballs in. I'm sure you'd like to see who you're working with, so I can send you a quick Zoom link and we can jump on here and I can show you the entire process I'm going to go through, like when I go and hunt down all these companies. And people really do like that, and it's awesome for
Yeah.
us to be able to get them on Zoom because it's like damn near having an in-home appointment. So I will always suggest or maybe press, not aggressively for a Zoom, because I definitely prefer the Zoom appointments, but to say, hey, if you have access to Zoom, insurance companies, they really do like us to get our eyeballs on you. Make sure you're not, well, I'm not saying you say this to everyone, but like they just want to make sure you're not giving us the Steve Hawking treatment, kind of, something funny, whatever your version of like a little relaxation kind of funny joke is. If you're not that funny,
Yeah.
probably don't do that. But, I will just kind of like throw something out there. And then like, I'm sure that, it's 2023, dude, we're sneaking into 2024. I'm sure you'd like to get eyeballs. I mean, and then I can show you my state license if you get on Zoom. And if they're like, hey, can we just do this over the phone? Yep, easy enough. Are you somewhere where you got a pen and paper and can sit down and write all this info down? And then I'll email them my license, text it to them, have them write down my stuff on the paper, and then we can start going through stuff. So that's kind of how I do that split.
And then last thing is for these ones, how many leads are you looking like for you? Like how many leads lead to how many conversations, lead to how many closes? Like what should people be looking at with that? Because I remember we used to talk about this all the time, and I've had a lot of people recently go like, yeah, man, I really worked on my leads really hard. I spent $250 this week, and I'm like, oh my God, like Easton was spending 2 grand a week when he had no money, right? So if you're watching this call and you're one of the people that's spending $200 a week on leads, like I don't mean to burst your bubble, but you probably have no shot of really, making any money doing this. So like what does the real expectation look like for the leads to, leads to pickups to, actual presentation to closes with those leads?
Well, I would say if you're booking an appointment and a presentation with them, like I would be surprised if you're not doing like between 6 and 7 out of 10. And maybe if you're like really, really new and just kind of learning that process, maybe it's like 4, but like,
Mhm.
4 out of 10 on a virtual Ethos appointment. These are not your traditional, like, fixed or regulated income final expense clients. Do a lot of these people like have full-time jobs? They have it's kind of like a mortgage appointment to me, and we're
Yeah,
getting them for $18. So we've kind of always done this, Zach, where I'm looking at what my lead spend is more than my lead count. So whatever $1,000 of leads at 18 a piece gets you, like that's kind of what I try to do twice a week.
got it.
Dude, you can have weird weeks too. Like two
So you
weeks
spend
ago,
about 1,000, which will get you how many presentations usually you think will get you, or because you're selling so twice a week, so the 1,000 will get you at least 10 presentations, which will get you, the 7 to 10 closes.
yeah, so it's 55 leads. If you do the new Ethos leads, which those are like the highest intent version of the Ethos lead because they're within that 30-day window of submission. Then after that, they drop to $8, and then you jump into the aged version of the leads. So $1,000 still, is I wouldn't change the spend amount for me, but I'll just
Yeah,
get $1,000 of the $8 version because it's going to be more dials. This still hasn't changed where you get what you pay for leads like that. Those fresh ones, you'll have some that are 48 hours out of when they were in the application that you'll talk
yeah,
to. And then, the $8 ones, they sat around for a month. So they probably made some other calls, submitted some other requests. So you need more volume. So just stick to that, and again, if you're new, maybe it's, 500, then 750, then work your way up to 1,000, but just make sure that you understand what your numbers are. Cause I'm thinking out of a 1,000, it's actually pretty batch dependent. And just from I just been around long enough, dude, where like I bought $1,000 of leads, and then out of the first 12 leads, I booked 4 appointments and sold 5,400. And so I didn't have to go rebuy leads as quickly as I normally would that Thursday because I was so far ahead early, and I had a handful of extra days to work the remaining leads that I'd already bought. So
yeah,
that would be like, hey, I was really profitable on this batch. Like I had a really unusual high submit week on $1,000. So I was able to, not have to double down that week. And then I rebought my leads that following Monday. But normally, if you're just trying to get consistent, like dude, 750 a dial day, 500,000 a dial day, you just have to stay consistent on those numbers. Mine have been really good on these. Again, I've been, doing this for, we're sneaking up on 5 years here this next year. So I know that if I buy $1,000 of the new Ethos leads, I'm going to turn over $5,000 in paid business for sure. And that's kind of
yeah.
like a really good number to have on the, on the average side. I would say it's really doable for everybody.
Awesome, dude. Well, hey, I appreciate it. Hopefully that even if you don't go by the leads, like the sales principles Easton was talking about is how you approach all of the appointments, right? So, yeah, I appreciate your time. Thanks for jumping on, and thank you for everything you do for the team, man.
You got it, dude. Appreciate you.